Today we're doing brakes, pads and rotors, caliper change on the 2015 Mazda 6 Touring. We've already taken it all apart. Alright, let's get this off. I'm gonna take the spring off. Alright, we took that spring off in order for us to release this. Just set it right there. What do we got? Maybe like a 12 there. It's a 12. It's a 12. You know what? I'll just pull it back. I don't know if we're going to be able to get it off like that. We might be able to. Alright, I'm not going to fight that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take it off. There we go. Alrighty. Got it off. Over. Knock it off. Let's get it off right here. Looks like it's not going to come off as nicely as we thought. Alright, let's try to get it off somehow. Let's see. Alright, there we go. We got that puppy off. Bring it down. Take that off. This, because we're not keeping it, we want to just take this little cover off. If we were keeping it, obviously I wouldn't be flinging it off, but we're not going to keep it. So we're just going to take that off. Hit it a little bit. It's a little rusty. Right. Give it a little tug. Okay. Let's see. Alright, got that out. Alright, let's get this off. Get this line off. That line is pretty on there. We tried with the 10, or we'll try with the 10. Let's see. Line wrench. Let's see what it does. No, slipping. Alright. That didn't work. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna bite down on it. Alright, let's see. Okay. got it to go. Alright, now that we got it undone, now we can put the 10 back on it. Close, or close. Alright. There we go, that's off. Let's pull this one off. Alrighty. Set that somewhere we won't lose it. Pull this off. Get this out of here. Alrighty. Cleaned up. So we can have it going there nice and good. Alrighty. Alrighty. Alright, while we're waiting on our line, we're going to put everything else back together. I'm going to put on the caliper bracket first. Put on our 2 nuts there first. Hopefully you guys can see that. Alright, I think you guys can see a little bit better. And these are a 14, right? That's a 12. Alrighty. We'll zip it on. Alright, there you go. Then we'll torque it down. What do we got? We got 43. $43. Alright. Alright, there we go. Let's see what we got. They gave us new clips. Let's see. Nice and easy. Bottom, top. Let's see what kind of brake pads we got. We have the Perfect Stop ceramic. All right. We're gonna do, this is the back, this is the front, or inside and outside. How about that? Put some grease on them. Okay. Alright, clip them into place. Perfect Stop we like because they fit nice and easy. You're not always fighting them. Bam, they're in. Now we're going to grab, where is it? Where do we leave it? Alright. Grab our handy dandy. I even grease this, so if you don't agree with it, that's up to you, but I even grease the inside of this. Even though it's new, it's gonna slide, it's gonna be good. Grease this puppy too, alright? Bam. Let's get it sit on there. Situated on there. Alrighty. Alright. Hand tighten everything, guys. Don't be that guy that strips something because he didn't hand tighten anything. Hand tighten. There we go. Now I think that's going to be a 12. Let's make sure it is. Oh, it's not. I guess it is the 14. Yep, 14 for those also, guys. Okay. 2, and then we'll torque it down to 25. And 425. Torque everything down, guys, because you never know what's going to happen. You always want it to be right on. You always want everything to be to spec. This could be the best way to resolve any overthinking, or did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the spring off this one again so that I can get that line on there. This is going to move freely once I get this off. So I release that spring, right? I put this puppy through. I move this forward. All right. There we go. It went into place. Let's put, no, we got that back on. Let's put the spring back on. And be careful, guys, because this thing will come off and hit you right in the face. All right, just a recap. We torqued the knuckle to 43, the caliper to 25. We got the parking brake back in, and now we're just waiting to put the line on. All right, guys. Also, don't forget, grease everything up. You can use whatever you want. I use the Permatex brake lubricant. I put it on the, on the piston itself and on the back of the brake pads. Doesn't have to be super lubed up, but just, get it right. And we're just waiting on the line. All right, we're back. We got our brake hose. All right, it's got a certain way you got to fit in there so that you can connect it. You gotta make sure it goes on there. All right, you just gotta turn it up. There we go. See that? It gives you that little bit of space. Once it goes right into where it has to, kind of put the clip in there, maybe tap it a little. There you go. Make sure it's in there. All right, I'm gonna start the threads by hand like always. At least give it a few turns, 5 or however many you can get in there by hand. You never want those threads to get messed up, and then you can put the 10 on it. All right. And remember, before we had to take it off with pliers, so it's a little iffy, but it's gonna go on easier than it came off, because obviously who knows how long it had been on there for. All right. Slow process, but take your time. We don't want it to stripped completely. Obviously that doesn't look great, but you don't want to have to end up building a whole nother line here, which is exactly what will happen if you strip that puppy all the way down. Not saying it's perfect. I know you guys saw that it's already stripped, but get it there. Yep. All right, now we're there. Get your 10 off. All right, we're gonna come down here. We're gonna take this off. All right, I'll sit so you guys can check out what I'm doing. All right, see, this little hook is going to go in there, all right, and it's going to sit like that. So, washer, hole, washer, nut. All right. And like I said, everything by hand for starters. All right, let's see. There we go. Everything by hand. I think that light's a little bit in there. Alright, all right. Let's see. Now we can see a little bit better. Alright. Here we go. And I think that's a 12. So. Nope. This actually looks like an 11. Alright. It's an 11. It ended up being an 11. Alright. So. I'm going to get it to where it has to go. Alright. Nice and easy. You want to get it in there. Snug as a bug. This is something you do not want to have to thread, especially when you're putting a new one on. You do not want to be messing with anything. Alright. And remember, these are crush washers, so you want to get them nice and on there. Alright. And if you can see, I don't have a giant wrench on it, but you know, something obviously to crush washers. Bam. All right, guys. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to bleed the brakes. We're obviously gonna start with the furthest, which is gonna be the right rear, and then we'll move on from there. We'll go around.